Hey, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, all right. Guys, let's give everybody like a couple more minutes. Usually everybody just joins around the dot. As you can see, now we have already there's been like 20 people joining over the past 5 seconds. So let's just give a bit more time, and then we'll get started at around 4:03, 4:04. Okay. Maybe I just get a sense who is here with your parents, who are only parents. You can just type into the host and panelists. Who just here as a student. Hmm. Okay, I see a lot of students. Very, very, very good. When I was younger, I only became really independent around P5. Okay, so those of you who are the students who are here by yourself, very, very good job. Okay, you're on the right track. And today, the stuff that I'm going to share with you guys can practice as much as you want. You're going to get fantastic feedback. And if you do well with Cher.ai, you're going to do well at PSLE. Okay, so, and this is all in your pocket. You don't have to pay additional money. As long as you're a Mind Stretcher student, you have this for free. So I'm going to walk you through everything. All right, but well done for being here. And then for the parents who are here, I will also be going through quite a few things. I think, as with everything, parents are the best teachers at home, but all of us are working. I'm working, my wife is working. Oftentimes, we don't have uh, so much time, to do research, to understand the rubrics. So today, I'll give a little bit of a sense of why Cher.ai is built the way it does and how it actually helps you. Okay, it's not just another ed tech tool. Um, if it was, Straits Times wouldn't cover it. So I think we have gotten good recognition for what we're building, and I'm very happy to be able to share that with you today. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna get a couple of slides up. Let's see whether you just let me know whether you can see it. Okay. Okay. Can you guys see the slides behind me? Wait. Let me see. How do I see this? Okay. Okay. Come. Then let's get started. Okay. Uh, I still see quite a few people coming in, but early bird gets the worm. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so just a bit about me. I don't think I've met many of you yet, but I am Moses. I'm currently the deputy CEO of MindStretcher. MindStretcher was started by my mother. I came in 2 years ago after working in the government. In the government, I was working on economic policy in MES. And then after that, I started working on AI products for the government. So I built uh, um, a product called Pair. It's being used by a lot of civil servants today. I got the President's Scholarship in 2012, and I am personally building Cher.ai because I think I want to share a couple of things that worked for me when I was in school. When I was in school, things were not always easy, right? There were many times where I failed. If I don't put in hard work, I also won't do well. When I was in Sec 3, I was doing well. Then I told my mom that actually, now that I'm doing well, can I play some computer games? Within 3 months, my grades went from top in the class to failing physics, and that's when I stopped playing. When I was in Sec 1 and I was distracted by relationships, my grades were also poor. And until I sat down and started practicing my mathematics again, did my math grades improve. Okay, so things don't come easy to everybody. Certainly not for me. But the one thing I was always good at is that once I realized that I needed to practice, then I really, really work hard and I practice as much as I can. Yeah, but there were a few things that were very hard to practice. Okay, so why did I build Cher.ai? Um, Compo and oral are very hard to practice. When I was in sitting for my A levels, there was this thing called general paper for the students here. It's just like writing, okay, but instead of writing stories, you're writing about some issues in society. Um, it's actually not very different from your stimulus-based conversation kind of topics. Okay. Um, and I used to write every single day. In the morning, I would wake up at around 5 a.m. I would get a topic from the past year papers and I would write. I write every day. But my teacher has no time to mark, you know. So what I'm practicing is just getting my thoughts down on paper. If I think that I'm doing well, that's all I have. Okay. But my teacher definitely has no time to mark uh, one paper every day. But if I wanted to do well, if I want to get a scholarship, then I really wanted to make sure that I could get an A. And so that's how I was practicing. Oral as well. When you want to practice reading, when you want to practice a conversation, um, it's best when it's done one-on-one. And I certainly, when I was young, I could not afford one-on-one tuition. Okay. So I could not even afford tuition. So today, when I built Cher.ai, I want to make sure that if you are willing to work hard, then you have all the tools that you need. Okay. So that's what we're going to be bringing you through today. Okay. So, um, you know, I want to just get a sense from everybody here. You can type in the chat. Uh, how many for your latest compo? Okay, if you have just done a compo in school, um, can people just type in the chat out of 36 for continuous writing? What are your scores? Okay, some really strong ones. Good. Some a lot of people still on their journey. Hey, don't share AL1. Tell me exactly what you got. Okay, very good. So okay, I see a lot of you are getting between 20 to 30. Okay. Uh, quite a few right in the middle, a few on the higher end, and a few below 20. Okay. And then what about for oral reading aloud out of 15? Maybe you just share, especially those of you who just did your WA2, if you got your results back. Okay. Yep. It's okay if you haven't gotten if you haven't gotten your results back for WA2, maybe you can share the last one you remember. It's out of 15, okay? The reading aloud segment. Okay, good. So lots of people are texting me, and it looks like a fair bit of you are at about like the 8 to 11 range. Some of you are getting full marks, very well done. Okay. Now let's make sure for those of you who are below 10, we're going to make sure that by the end of June, you guys are going to be getting full marks. Okay. For reading aloud, this is something I think it's something that you can really practice. It's not like Compo where there's a lot of judgment. For reading aloud later, I'll show you guys exactly what your teachers are using to mark your reading aloud attempt. Okay, and then you can see actually it is quite clear what we have to do. All right, so I think with using the tools that we are sharing today, uh, I think we should be aiming for full marks for reading aloud, and for Compo, let's try and get above 30. Okay. People say I get 13 to 14. Yeah. Is it good enough? Well, that's up to you. If it were me, I think like on our Cher.ai platform, you should be aiming for about 14 out of 15 consistently. Then you're quite sure you're going to get 15 in reading aloud in the exam. Okay. I mean, because there's so many parts of the paper, some are more challenging than others. For things that are within reach, we got to be smart. We got to be strategic. Make sure that we get those marks so that we can buy ourselves some breathing space for the rest of the paper. Okay. Okay. Wen I can see your text. Don't worry. I can see everybody's text. If you're texting to me, I can see. Okay. So don't worry. If I'm not replying, I'll just talk about it here. Okay. Because right now I am talking to how many people? I'm talking to almost uh, 300 people. Okay. So I won't be able to reply to every single person. But just keep texting me and then I'll reply here. Okay. Great. Okay, come. The first thing that we need to do, guys, is that I need you guys to, if you have your own handphone, scan this QR code, join the Cher.ai WhatsApp. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Okay. Um, can you guys see this chat window? Is it blocking the slides? Okay. All right. Okay, I'll put it at the side. Okay, but for now, please scan this QR code over here. All right. This is the Cher.ai WhatsApp announcement group. Okay. Um, Cher.ai is not at all done. Okay. We are really just at the beginning of what we're launching. In the next few weeks, there will be listening compre. Uh, oh, I see. We've reached the limit. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, guys, I will sort this out. I'll text in Luma later. Okay, how we can join. Um, okay, we will sort this out. Okay. Later on there'll be a 5 minute break. I'll try and sort it out then, and then we will get everybody on board. Okay. But uh, very important to be part of the community because I'll be launching almost a product every 1 or 2 weeks. I know what students need to score well. A lot of times, teachers just don't have enough time, and there's not enough good practice material. So the next one that's coming out, probably stimulus-based conversation to practice, as well as listening compre. Not just the easy kind of questions, but challenging questions where you have to infer, you have to understand like what the speaker was trying to hint at when he did this, what was on his mind when he did this. Okay, so a lot of challenging questions. We have prepared 200 uh, proper practices, PSLE style, PSLE level challenging questions. So look out for that. All right. Okay. Now, my goal is that for everybody on this call, we make sure that we get everything set up. So if there's any issues, then we can walk through quickly. Okay. So I've decided to make sure AI free for Mindstretcher students this year. Okay. I think in future years it's definitely going to be paid because I want to give students more rewards. Okay. But while we are still developing it, I will make it available for everybody, and I want everybody to do well this year. Okay. That's my goal. My goal here is not to make money from this. My goal is to make sure that at least for the components that we can support, you guys do much better. Okay, so you guys can. I'm just going to walk through how it works. Okay, you guys just do it with me if you haven't done it already. Please grab a laptop, grab a phone. Okay, we go to Cher.ai Redeem MS Research Preview. Okay. Okay. So what do you need to do? Okay. If you're at Cher.ai, let me just open an incognito page so that we can see what you guys will see. Okay, you go to this page, right? I have some information about what we are doing here. You go to try now. Okay, you create an account. So let me see. I've created many accounts already. Let's see. Okay. So those of you who haven't created an account before, you guys will be able to create your account. You verify your email. Okay, and when you go in, you will see this page. Okay, uh, I'm making available Cher.ai for outside. This again is a very discounted pricing for people who are not MindStretcher students. But you go to the bottom and you see this thing. Have a MindStretcher code, redeem. Okay, and you click redeem. Okay, and then you will get to uh, you will get to this page. Okay. Then for all of you in your MindStretcher app, where do you get the access code from? You go into your MindStretcher app. Okay, on your home tab, you just scroll down, and your Cher.ai uh, access code will be at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys like 5 minutes to do this. If you run into any issues, just type in the chat. Then let's see if we can help everybody out. Okay. Okay, a lot of people are saying I'm too fast. Okay, come. Let's go through again. Okay, so on you go to Cher.ai. Okay, Cher.ai. Okay, anyway, I'll send you guys the instructions after this as well. Okay, these instructions are also in the Luma description. Okay, but uh, you go to Cher.ai. Then after you log in, there's this redeem button at the bottom of this subscription tab. Okay. Then after you click redeem, you will see this code. Then you have to key in your code. Okay. And where you get your code is you go into your MindStretcher app. Inside the MindStretcher app, go to your student tab and then go to home. Okay. And then scroll down. Okay. I'm going to put this URL into the chat. All right. Then you guys can have a look while I'm going through the rest of the things. Issues with login. Okay, guys. I mean, yeah, I guess not ready for like 300 people to try and do it at the same time. So let me carry on first. And then after that we can get back to logging in. Okay. So I want to show you everything, and then I'll hang around after the webinar to make sure that everybody can get on. All right. Okay. Come. Let's get back to this. Okay, so PSLE English for the students and parents. Okay, today we're going to be talking about continuous writing. This is inside paper 1. All right, and then reading aloud, which is inside paper 4. Okay, and that's the two things that we can start practicing today. Reading aloud is worth 15. It used to be worth 10. Continuous writing used to be worth 14. Now it's worth 36. Okay. So you can see, actually, reading aloud just on its own, if you look at it, it is almost the same weightage as a full comprehension already. Okay, and this will take you 1 minute and 30 seconds of proper reading. That's why I say it's low-hanging fruit. We should really make sure that we can do well for it. Okay. All right. So let's just quickly get started. All right. So doing well for continuous writing. In the in the chat, can people tell me if you know what the rubrics are for continuous writing? How many of you are familiar? How many of you have seen the rubrics before? Okay, I see some content and language. Not me, not familiar. Mountain. Okay. Story mountain is what you use, but that's not the rubrics. Okay, so it looks like about half of you don't know. Okay, so very quickly, it's worth 36 marks. And it's split 18 marks for content, 18 marks for language. Now, for those of you who think you know it, this is actually based on the official MOE rubrics. Okay, so you may not have seen this level of detail before. Okay, for content, and then language and organization. Okay, for content, um, now this is about whether your content addresses the topic. Okay, so a oh, I see, we are down. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'll make sure that it gets back up soon. Okay, but for now, okay, so this is what a compo looks like. Okay, there's instructions. Write a composition of at least 150 words about being courageous. This is the topic. Okay, this is just a minimum. What we should be aiming for is about 500 words. Okay, and then you're given 3 images that you can use. So for parents, it's different from our time where you were given 4 pictures and they're all related to the story and we write about that. Okay, now the images are all separate. Okay, and you only need to use at least one of the images. Okay, you don't have to use all. You don't get bonus marks for using all. Just use at least one. Okay, so being courageous, you can see these images will be related to the topic. It could be, this one is obviously about being bullied. This one is somebody saying sorry. This one is somebody speaking in the auditorium. Okay. Okay. So how are you assessed on content? Okay, whether it doesn't matter what your language looks like, but your content, how does it score? There are 5 bands. Okay. And we are looking at 2 different things. First, are you relevant? Okay, and then secondly, once you're relevant, is it interesting and thoroughly developed? Okay, so something first and foremost could be not relevant, right? If you wrote about, let's say you're writing about being courageous, but you forget to use any of the images. Okay, then then what that is counted as, depending on how well you wrote, is that maybe you have some relevance. Okay, if you don't actually address the image, if you just use the image as uh, something that the narrator noticed, but actually the image is not fully driving your story, then generally you will score around band 2, band 3. Okay, so relevance is the first thing. Or you could address the image, but you forgot the theme, right? So you could be writing about this, but you forgot about being courageous. Your whole story is about this guy getting bullied, and then he never actually stands up to the bully. Okay, so that's another way of writing off topic. Okay, you didn't address the theme. Okay, but once you address the theme, then they're looking at whether it is highly interesting and thoroughly developed. So you could have a very short story, maybe it's about leadership, and then the picture is a football. So you write a story about cheering you're in the football team, and then you cheer your friends on, and then finally you won. Okay, and then it's about 100 words. There's not a lot of meat in the story. Those things will score. It will be relevant because you showed some leadership, you commanded the team and all that, but it is not well developed. It's very minimal, and not interesting. Okay, so that is content. And when we talk about language and organization, language and organization is the other 18 marks. Okay, so that is about your story. Now it's about, okay, how do you tell it? Of course, these overlap a little bit. Okay, if your language and organization, if your language is really, really very messy, there's a lot of broken English, people can't understand the story, your content marks will also get docked for sure. Okay, so language, things like English or that, ultimately these are languages. Okay, they cannot be broken up into small, separate bits. We have to write well. Okay, so in language and organization, they are looking at 3 different things. Okay, one is that you used things accurately, so grammar, spelling, punctuation. All right. After accuracy, they look at whether you used a wide variety of vocabulary and sentence structures. Right, and then overall, is the whole thing well organized? Right, is it one whole paragraph, 400-word paragraph, or is there a good use of paragraphing? good connectors to move from one part of the story to another, right? Like after you were bullied, you were turning around when suddenly something in you snapped. Turning around, I stared my bully in the eye, right? So those are very good ways to link ideas together, and that's what they're looking for here. Okay, so I'm already hinting to you, like actually there are a lot of ways to showcase this in the exam. Uh, for parents who are here and students, for me, I treat examinations as a game. Okay, we need to know the rules of the game. Uh, is this the only way to write well? Definitely not. Okay, writing well, there are so many different ways to do it. Okay, but in the PSLE, we have to sit for a standardized exam. They want to check what you have learned. So there is a game, there is a system that they're using to check your writing. So we need to know that, and we need to play smart. Okay, and then if you want to write more creatively, you want to try different techniques, just know that for continuous writing, you have around 40 minutes to do it. Okay, so me generally, I play it safe. I come up with a simple system that I've embedded inside Cher.ai that I'll teach you today. Okay, so in general, you can see there's about 5 things that you're looking for. Is it relevant? Once it's relevant, is it well developed? Once it's well developed, actually, did you use your language accurately? Then if you use it accurately, do you showcase a wide range of uh, language devices? Okay, and then finally, does the whole thing seem to flow well? Okay. Just to tell you what I hope everybody does after this is that I hope everybody practices at least one compo every week. Okay. You don't have to just use the model comp. You don't have to. You just use the topics on Cher.ai. There's a lot of practice papers out there. I'm sure your school gives them to you as well. You can just open up your mind stretcher file, take any of the compo, the compo exercises that we have set for you, and you can key it into CompoCoach and you can do a mock compo there. Okay, so weekly practice definitely have to do. If you can do more, do more. And secondly, study what good looks like. Okay, so look at model compositions and really study them. For me, when I was set for O levels, the highest marks I was getting for Chinese was C5, and then 4 months before the exam, I collected about 20 good compositions. I really studied them. I more or less memorized them until I could uh, rearrange them for whatever topic that came out. Okay, I'm not saying this is the best way to study language, but for me, I didn't grow up in a Chinese-speaking household. I didn't really have a good background, but I think model compositions really help. Okay, and I've put model compositions inside Cher.ai as well. Okay, so CompoCoach. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so okay, let me just have a quick look at the chat, see how everybody is doing. Yes, I will definitely. Okay, I guess people are starting to come in, starting to be able to log in now already. There is no. Let me quickly answer some of the questions. There's no penalty for writing too many words, but if you write too many words, generally your compo is too complicated and you may not finish on time. Okay, how do we do more than 400 words in 45 minutes? It's actually not possible. That's why all the model compos, if you go into popular, sometimes the model compos are way too long. I write 600-700 words. There's no way that you can do that in an exam. So all of the Cher.ai model compos are about 450 words. Okay. Does vocab belong to language? Yes. Mind structure code, guys. You will have. I won't be able to handhold every single person through this. So, I've already sent the link, to redeem your mind structure code into the chat. Just follow the instructions there, okay? And then I've also included the mind structure support number on that page. When you click on the WhatsApp number there, you will be able to ask MindStretcher staff to help you find your access code if you have trouble. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going for the rest of the audience first. In the future, when I send stuff on Luma, and I'll be doing this pretty much every week, okay? For different components, we'll go over what people have been doing. So I want to help all the P6 and P5 students directly as much as I can. So make sure that we do the preparation steps before the thing, so that before the event, so that you can follow along. Okay, but now let's see how this applies to a compo. Okay, so being courageous. Okay, this is about being courageous. You can write 150 words, at least 150 words about any of these pictures. Okay, and what this child did was to write this sample composition. Okay, so I'm just going to put it on the screen. We can read along. Okay, let's just take 2 minutes. I'll just scroll slowly on the screen. We can read along, and I want to show you how this rubric is applied. Okay, so while we're reading, basically there's a boy named Jimmy, and there's a school bully called Hugh. Okay, and he gets bullied during his recess. Okay, and then he was reading a book. Then somebody came over. Hugh threatened him. He bared his teeth in an ugly snarl. He hissed, "Meet me at the playground after school. Do not come without $30. Understand?" And then he's very scared of going to meet Hugh, but he said, "Okay, I will just tell him I'll pay him $20 tomorrow." Hey, better late than never, right? Then he went to the playground. Uh, Jimmy's heart skipped a beat when he saw Hugh. And then he says, "I only have $10 now. I will give you $20 tomorrow." Then Hugh's face turned red with anger. He clenched his fist. He dealt a stinging blow to Jimmy's face. Red palm print appeared instantly. He said, "Ouch." Then there was a passerby who watched the entire scene. She was completely bewildered by the sight. "Hey, stop what you're doing now before I report this incident to your teachers." Okay, then he chased the boys away. The three boys lowered their eyes and scampered off. And he checked, "Are you okay?" And then Jimmy says, "Thank you for being courageous." Okay, let's have a quick discussion. Okay, so we can understand a few things. Um, what what do you guys think this compo should have scored? If you want to read the compo, it's over here. Somebody said 35 out of 36. Somebody said 28 out of 36. Okay, maybe let me see, Sam. Still 30 plus. You guys thought it's 30 plus. Remember, it's out of 36, yeah? Okay, if you guys can see my screen, I see a lot of people are saying 30 plus, huh? Okay, I'm going to go back to this. Let's see, Okay, very good. A lot of different ideas. Let me get back to this. Okay, come, I want to hear from a few people. Let's talk about, okay, guys, you can stop typing inside already. Let's see. Why don't somebody raise your hand if you want to share why you're giving the grade? Then Roy can grant the access, please. Okay, let's see. Roy, can we let some of them speak? Let's see. Okay, I see a couple of people raising their hands. I will. Uh, Okay, Sam, we have allowed you to speak. Why don't you share why you think it's I think you said it was
28.
what do you say, Sam? Let me see. You said 28 out of 36, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, why don't you share? What do you think the person did well? Why do you think you deducted some marks?
He had like a lot of like good grammar and good vocabulary, but then I feel
Yep.
like there should be more like information and detail about the courageous, and I feel like it should be like more than one paragraph or two paragraphs for saying courageous, because like to have more detail and whatsoever.
Okay, so you think that he needed more detail uh, about the part of him being courageous, right? In fact,
Yeah.
actually, Sam, let me ask you, do you think Jimmy was courageous?
Mm, a bit.
Why? Tell me why he was courageous.
Cause like he still went there even though he had $10 with him, and then he still said, I will return you the remaining $20 tomorrow. And then
Okay,
he still took a stinging blow from Hugh, and then
I see.
he
So if
still
I
got
if you take a stinging blow, are you courageous, Sam?
a bit.
A bit. Okay. Mm. And then at the ending paragraph, I know it was a bit small on the screen, but we had to do it online. In the last paragraph, he thanked the passerby for being courageous. Okay. Um, okay, so that's the 28. Let's see people who gave it higher. Maybe
Okay.
I see a lot of people. A lot of people. Thank you so much, Sam. Um,
Thank you.
maybe we go with okay. So some of you are giving it lower. Okay, maybe we have one more. I think Tia Da um has had his hand up for a while. Why don't we let Tia Da share his thoughts? We can also let Tilden speak. I saw a request here. Yeah, a lot of people are giving it quite high marks as well. Come, guys, Tilden or Tala, either of you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello.
Yep. Can you introduce yourself to everybody?
I give the compo 24 of 36.
Okay, you give it 24 out of 36. Why? Why is it 24?
Because in the story, the boy who was getting bullied didn't actually do the courageous act, but was actually a passerby. And then the passerby was not actually one of the main characters, but more of a side characters. So basically, this means that they didn't include really include the courageous act, or like the main the whole point of the paragraph is supposed to be the courageous act, but
Exactly, exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
but they didn't write on it.
Okay, very good, Tala. So Tala has caught something. Okay, and these are the kind of subtle things, right? So in CompoCoach, we are not just a grammar catcher. Okay, Tala, thanks so much. Maybe Tilden, a quick one.
Just how that one was me.
Oh, it was Tilden. Sorry. Okay, great. Thanks very much, Tilden. Okay. So exactly right. So Tilden caught something. Okay. And Compo Coach, we are not just a grammar checker. Okay, if you want to do grammar checking, if you want to just check whether you spelled things correctly, just paste it in Microsoft Word, you'll get a red squiggly line. Okay. But what we look for is not just the grammar, the vocabulary, but we also check for these kind of things, right? Did you actually address the topic properly? Okay, like what we just discussed, honestly, uh, between Tilden and between Sam, um, you can see that there's different perspectives. Okay, some say that okay, because he dared to go and meet Hugh after school, so he's courageous. Other people said, hey, actually, but he went, but in the end, like he was not courageous at all. Like he got punched, and then somebody saved him. So how is he courageous? I'm not saying that either one of these is wrong. Okay, but actually for me, it would be best if we write the compo in a way where it's clearly on point. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Uh, I'm not teaching you how to hack the system, but I'm teaching you that uh, your markers are also human. each teacher that's marking for PSLE is going to mark 100 scripts. Okay, we want to make sure it's as clear as possible for the marker that you have been on topic, that you did develop it well, and so on and so forth. Okay, so when we submit that into CompoCoach, so let's have a quick look. Okay, so once you log in, you'll see this page. Okay, you go to CompoCoach. All right, we have a few themes that you can practice on. We have identified a few themes that commonly come out in PSLE. Okay, but you can submit your own topic. Okay, so anything that your school gives you or MindStretcher gives you, you want to practice, anything you find in the past year papers you want to practice, go to mark any compo. Okay, you can type the theme in. So this is being courageous. Let's say you want to just write about the picture where the boy is standing over another boy. So a boy standing over another boy holding a bag. Okay. And take the compo, paste it in. Okay, so for some of you, I think you should practice on foolscap paper because that's what you're going to be practicing with for the exam. But once you're done, parents, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude, just take a picture, ask it to transcribe things out, you'll get the text out, okay? I left it like this because I want you guys to check the transcript before you submit it, okay? And then you simply click this, you double check that everything looks okay, okay, and then click get my report. Okay, and then it will start to analyze it. Okay, just in interest of time, I'll show you what the final report looks like, but you'll be analyzing it. As I mentioned, I used to build AI products in government. So I have used the AI models in a thoughtful way to make sure that they mark according to the rubrics and they can catch some of these nuances that we're already talking about. Like, actually, it looks like it could be on topic, but actually, it's not. Okay, so when we take a look, okay, so in this case, so this is the compo that was submitted. In this case, CompoCoach gave it a 22 out of 36. Okay, much lower than what the students and families were sharing. Okay, I think some of you did point out 24, 22. So this is around band 3. Okay, so actually quite a few of you gave these band 3 result. Some of you gave much higher because I think you were focusing on the language. All right, so when we go through, you will see that remember we talked about the rubrics, right? So topic and relevance. First of all, did we address the topic? In CompoCoach, what we'll do is we'll give you your band actually per rubric area. Okay, so we won't just give you, okay, you got 10 out of 18 and then we don't tell you what you did well and what you didn't do well. Okay, what we'll do is every single part that I shared about, whether it's relevant, whether it's developed properly, whether you use language accurately, then do you use a wide range of vocabulary, and then the whole thing, is it well organized? We give detailed feedback for each. What does the detailed feedback look like? Okay, so over here, we will highlight where you did well. Okay, so this compo, I think for sure what they did well is that it set the stage really well. Right, actually, he is bullied, the way that he was scared of Hugh and all that. These are the right setup for somebody to show their courage later on in the story. So you did a great job. Okay, and we will highlight areas where you did well. Okay, so we will be very specific. You will notice that this feedback is a lot more detailed already than most composition feedback that you receive from teachers, okay, in school. And this is not teacher's fault. If you really want to mark like this, it will take you 1 hour per compo. Okay, and teachers are humans as well. They need their own time. If they are teaching 100 students in school, one composition, they will spend the entire weekend at Starbucks marking. Okay, so it's not, it is very hard for teachers to produce this kind of thing. And that's why I want to create this so that teachers can also focus on where they can add the most value. Okay, so we point out where you're doing well. And then we tell you actually why are you in band 2. Okay, while the story is about courage, your main character falls into the convenient stranger trap. Jimmy spends the whole story being afraid, and when the climax arrives, a passerby suddenly appears to save him. Jimmy never actually acts courageously himself, and he even thanks the stranger for being courageous. To fully address the topic, the main character needs to be the one who learns the lesson and takes action. Okay, and then how to improve? Make the main character the hero of the story. Okay, true courage is doing the right thing even when you're terrified. And then we don't just point this out, we will show you how to rewrite. Okay, so over here, Hugh raised his fist, but this time, Jimmy didn't close his eyes. No, Jimmy said, his voice shaking but surprisingly loud. I'm not giving you my money anymore. Even though his knees were trembling, Jimmy stood his ground. Okay, so this is how, guys, this is my daughter, if you can see her. Well, I'm teaching on a Saturday. Okay, so we will show how to improve. And then I put in a few things that I use to make sure that am I really on point? I call this a litmus test. Okay, this is something that we'll also be teaching in June to all my churches students in our Power Up PSLE program. The litmus test is you want to know how you're on point, whether you have addressed the theme. Actually, you just try and summarize your whole story into one sentence. And in this case, you can tell. I demonstrated courage by watching a passerby chase away the bullies who were bullying me. Okay, once you write down how you demonstrated courage, you can start to see this is problematic. All right. Whereas if you wrote something simpler, I demonstrated courage by standing up to the bully, then it's obviously on point. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to share with you guys. Don't feel like we have to study for the exam. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that the examiners are not here to trick you or trap you. We just want to make the composition very easy to understand. Okay, so this litmus test is one way to spot whether you are on topic or off topic. When you put everything into one sentence and explain how you demonstrated the theme, does it make sense or not? Is it obvious? Okay, and I'll check whether you have used the image well. Okay, so over here there's integral. Okay, integral means that you really integrated it well. Right, you use the image perfectly. Because some students, let's say for this being courageous compo, and there's a boy standing over another boy holding a bag. Sometimes people will write a totally different compo, but they just walk past somebody in the corridor standing over another boy holding a bag. Okay, then that is the image has been used in the composition, but actually it's not driving the composition, right? Maybe there's another courageous event where he goes to save somebody um, who was you know, maybe he fell down in the drain and then it was quite dangerous, so you went to save him, but you walk past a boy standing over another boy. If you use an image like that, that doesn't count. Okay, and then you are off topic. You did not showcase your ability to use the image to drive your story. Okay, so we do this for every single thing, every single part of the rubric. We we tell you what you did well, we tell you why this band, how to improve. Okay, and then actually here, why did this actually score badly for language and organization? This is because what we understand from some of our teachers is that there are also internal guidelines where if you are not on topic, okay, then your language and organization, there is a cap. Okay, so this is what we have built into the system. Okay, so frankly, I think this student's language is probably above average, either a high band 3 or band 4. Okay, so when we look at here, indeed, he's band 3. This is a high band 3 to band 4. Okay. But we will check for a lot of things that I think even parents ourselves, when I started to prepare students for PSLE again, there were many, many rules I had to revise. So what we look for is, of course, what did he do well? He used actually quite a lot of sophisticated vocabulary, victimization, immobilized. But where was he inaccurate? Actually, we see a lot of this for students. There's this thing called phrasal verb errors, right? Where actually, because you write a phrase wrongly, it has a totally different meaning. So stood up for me, when he said to the passerby, hey, thank you, you stood up for me. But he actually wrote stood me up. Parents here, you know, stood me up means something very different. It means that you were supposed to meet me, but you didn't meet me. So stood me up and stood up for me means totally different things. And the dialogue rules. Okay, so over here, many students make this mistake. When they write dialogue, if there is a fragment after that, hue snapped, then this has to be a comma. Okay, a lot of students write a full stop. Okay. And then finally, we do this for every single rubric section. All right. And we will pull together all the little corrections that you have to make. These are the more of the mechanical errors. There's an annotated compo at the bottom of the compo report. Okay, you will see some parts here where the punctuation is wrong. Here where a red palm print appeared instantly, if we feel that there is a opportunity to write it in a more of a show, not tell way, right? So a bright stinging handprint blossom across his cheek, then we will point this out. Okay, so this is grading. Okay, of course, very important is to get good, accurate grades, actual feedback, then you know where you are at. Okay, that's part one of CompoCoach. Okay, I'm going to take a quick pause here, just have a look at the questions. Yeah, so exactly. Those, I think parents who know, right? Parents who have seen marking, and even when you pay for private tuition, thank you very much, Yuxuan. This is the stuff that I will use for my own kids, guaranteed. And now I'm going to treat all the Mind Stretcher students as my own kids, make it available to everybody. Okay, will there be a Chinese Cher.ai? Yes, but I'm only one guy working on this because it's very hard to delegate to engineers. Why? Because what is a good compo actually is not easy to tell. And you need to be a good writer, a good student who knows what we are trying to teach students. Then you can build this well. Okay, so I will get to Chinese in a bit. Math and science, we will see something probably around the July period. Okay. Miss Ong, suggestion, let us upload a picture of the question. Yes, it's possible. But for now, this is what we have. It's a simple change to make, but I also think it's good. It's already usable today. Okay. But yes, I'm glad some parents can see this. For parents who have not paid for private tuition before, actually this level of marking is impossible to get, even with a private tutor. Okay, so I'm very happy that all of you can have it today. I want you guys to practice at least once a week. Okay. All right, but I said there's two things, right? There's a weekly practice, but if you practice and you keep doing the wrong things, keep doing the wrong things, writing and language, right? For the students here and for the parents as well, you know that the only way to get good at writing is to read good writing. Yeah, you need to see it. You're not going to invent good writing by yourself. You need exposure. Okay, but there's a lot of writing out there. What is good? What is bad? What is suitable for PSLE? What is not suitable for PSLE? What is possible for you to execute on? What is really, really too chim for you to learn for PSLE? Of course, for those of you who I saw you are scoring 33 out of 36 already, you have a good foundation. Okay, then what I'll do today is I'll show you the toolkit that you need to do to keep that consistently high. But for those of you who are in the low 20s range, you want to get the 30 plus, actually today's session will be super useful for you. Because not only do we do weekly practice, but we need to study what good looks like. Okay, so this is my next thing inside CompoCoach, which I think the discerning parents will realize is extremely rare as well. Okay, and we take a look now. So apart from grading, where I give you your score, and you notice I did 604 words, okay? The next thing I do is that for the image that you submitted and for the topic that you submitted, I will also write a model compo for you. I'll give you a model compo. Okay. Now, model compos, some parents tell me, actually, I can just throw this into ChatGPT, right? In fact, that's what I understand some schools are doing now to teach compo writing. They say take a picture of the exam prompts, put it into ChatGPT. When it comes out, then you just study what composition comes out. And I tell you a few problems, okay? You will notice it when I go through this compo. Now, this compo, this model composition is written such that CompoCoach grader will give it full marks. Okay, so if you want to see what a full marks composition looks like, this is it. Will it really get full marks in PSLE? As I mentioned, composition, unlike things like reading aloud, composition it can be quite subjective. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a range, 33 to 36. but surely these will easily score you the highest marks in the composition continuous writing section. Okay, and what do we do? What do we try to do in our model compose? Now, last time, for those of you who have had older children with mind stretcher before, in 2017, 2018, we had a series of extremely popular composition books called Mind Stretcher A-Star Writing. Okay, and if you look at those Compo books, they are very nice compositions because of a few things. First, they always have a simple plot. Okay, they don't do a complex plot that you cannot execute in the exam. If you go to Popular and you pick up some model Compo books, their compositions are 700 words long. It's full of twists and turns. Of course, it reads very interestingly, but you cannot do an exam. Okay, what we advocate for, me personally, in an exam, 40 minutes, write a simple linear compo. Avoid complicated plots. Okay, and when it's simple, we can quickly address the theme. So just now Sam mentioned, right? Actually, you should have spent 2 paragraphs focusing on him being courageous. Yes, absolutely. You can think of the composition as you have 5 paragraphs. You have 2 paragraphs to set the scene, 2 paragraphs to really go in depth into addressing the theme, and then sum up. Okay, that's it. And then each paragraph you incorporate a lot of descriptive language. Then it's very clear, it's easy to execute on. Okay, so what do we look for Band 5 writing? Okay, what I did, okay, so this is not taught in MindStretcher yet, but we're going to cover it in the June Power Up program. I've boiled down what I call the MindStretcher toolkit. Okay, and these are like, of course, you want to write well, there are many, many ways to learn, but 5 things you should do, which are very high value, which means they are obvious to the examiner. Okay, the first thing is that your opening needs to be strong and you set the scene exactly where you need it to be already. Okay, within the first 1-2 paragraphs, you have already obviously addressed the theme, right? So if the picture, you've already addressed the picture. So if the picture is a guy standing over a boy, then that needs to happen either in the first or the second paragraph. Okay, and you start off setting the scene. That means you paint where it is. So if they're wearing school uniform, it's a school courtyard, right? So you can start it off with under tumultuous skies, the school courtyard was bleak and empty, right? And then after that, we can continue. But in the corner, there was a boy sobbing, right? And then we go to addressing the picture. Okay, so, but we try to make sure that our first sentence, we set the scene. Okay, you can see what this does already. Yeah? Immediately, the examiner knows that you have addressed the topic or you're going to address the topic. But what am I asking you not to do? Okay, what I'm asking you not to do is complex plots, especially things like flashbacks. Okay, again here, maybe there's controversy about this, but for me, PSLE is not the place to use flashbacks. I won some creative writing competitions when I was younger. Of course, we can use a bunch of beautiful literary techniques. But in the exam, if you do a flashback, you know, you look at your watch and suddenly you were thrown back 20 years into the past. Sometimes in the exam, you don't get to make it back to the present day, you know, and then your story is incomplete. So when you write a complex plot like that, you make it harder for yourself. So if it were me, and you can make up your own mind in the exam, but if it were me, I'm going to write a simple plot that goes from point A to point B, and I'm just going to showcase my language as much as I can. The second thing is that upgrade your verbs and adjectives. So, you know, if you say, one rule that I set for myself, I try to not use words like walked and sit, right? We can trudge, we can limp, we can hobble, we can stumble, sit, we can whisper, we can gesticulate, we can growl, but upgrade it, right? Make sure that when you have the opportunity to, you close your eyes, you imagine what this person looks like when he's doing it, and then you use your vocabulary to do it. Impactful dialogue. I'm going to show you a pattern that I suggest you do at least once or twice inside your compo, because it not only showcases good organization, it showcases sentence structure variety, and it showcases vocabulary and descriptive writing. Vary your sentence structures. Later I'll show you, and then keep the ending simple. Okay, so if you look at this, the model compo writes a full marks version. So a simple opening, right? The lane behind the school was completely deserted. I trudged along the cracked pavement, my heavy footsteps echoing against the brick walls. A sharp shout suddenly shattered the afternoon stillness. You see, I don't waste 3 paragraphs before I get to the scene. The moment I do this, you know that this is going to start to address the boy getting bullied. My blood froze in my veins. I crept towards the corner and peered cautiously around the rusted fencing. Okay? What I saw made my stomach churn. Zach, the most notorious bully in primary 6, was looming over a much smaller boy. It was Toby from my class. Toby was cowering on the ground while Zach held his heavy school bag high in the air, a ferocious scowl plastered across his face. Okay, image is done. Okay, and then great vocabulary. Okay, so I've shown you, this is what setting the scene means. This is what upgrading the verbs and adjectives means. Okay, so far, he loomed. He wasn't standing, he loomed. Okay, he wasn't just sitting on the ground, he was cowering, right? I didn't just walk along the pavement, I trudged. Okay, I crept, I peered cautiously. Okay, so lots and lots of good vocabulary here already. And I wrote this. If some of you know one of the master teachers at Mindstretcher, the co-founder, Alvin Kwek, he's a great writer. His writing, I cannot emulate. Because why? He writes it in a way that is very accessible to primary 5 and primary 6 students. If the primary 5 and primary 6 students on this call look at this, there's nothing here that you cannot do. There's no crazy vocabulary. There's no weird sentence structures. There's no random quote that you have to memorize. My blood froze in my veins is a very, very basic way of writing, but you can see when it's put together, it's easy to access. And Alvin also writes in a way that tells the inner story, right? I crept around the corner, I peered cautiously. You can tell that the narrator is nervous already. Okay, but I've trained the AI to write exactly like that. So now we can produce that model composition for any topic that you want. Okay, and this is really not just throwing the AI. You can see there's a lot of thought that goes into this. Now, impactful dialogue. If you look over here, look at this thing here. Okay, this is one pattern that I suggest you guys do. Okay, that means 3 things here. 1, start on a new paragraph, your dialogue. Secondly, you do this thing where you have a dialogue, this who said it, and then descriptive writing to set the context, right? So please give it back. Toby's voice trembled. Toby pleaded, his voice trembling. Or it could be Zach, if you want to put the dialogue in, you can't make me, Zach scoffed, his voice slicing through the air like a knife. Okay, so this thing about dialogue, who said it, how he said it, and then the descriptor, it's a very nice way to inject some variety. It lets you use dialogue in a thoughtful way. It does it in a very high visibility way because you give the dialogue enough words, and then you showcase your vocabulary with this ending part, and as well as this descriptor, this verb. Okay, so all of these things that we have been teaching students in the past, we have put it into the model compositions. Okay, vary your sentence structures. If you look over here, one way to check, okay, guys, as even those of you who have scored well, I will also say that it also depends on your teacher in school. Okay, are they lenient? Are they themselves good writers? Okay, but one way I always check whether I have varied my sentence structures, I try my best not to start any sentence with I. Okay, I did this, then I did that, and then I did this. No, you see over here, Zach scoffed. He swung the bag out of reach, treating it like a repulsive prize. I shrank back against the wall. Every instinct screamed at me to run away. If I intervened, I would inevitably become his next target. My palms grew thick with sweat and my throat went completely dry. Can you see here, guys? This is what I mean by descriptive writing. Right now, is there anything happening in the plot? No, right? He just swung the bag away and then we capture the narrator's reaction. This is what I think is what I would do in PSLE. Simple plot, right? You just see him bullying the boy, holding the bag, how do you react? And then when you confront him, what do you do? That's it. Okay, don't need to go from I woke up in the morning, then I was very happy going to school, but then I got bullied in school, and then after school I was going to meet him, and then after school I got bullied And then after that, I told the headmaster. The headmaster the next day went to tell the guy not to do this. You know, that kind of plot. You actually spend a lot of time writing the plot instead of showing your vocabulary, right? And you don't have time in the PSLE. So keep it simple. Over here, you know, without warning, Zach unzipped the bag, turned it upside down. Then I could not turn a blind eye. I stepped out from the shadows. This is a dramatic short sentence. Basically, every single thing that I think is good for you to notice, I've either annotated here or I've put it out into the vocabulary list for you to revise. Okay. And then, you know, drop the bag. I added forcing my voice to remain steady. See this technique again? Dialogue, verb, and then descriptive writing. Okay. And then you go. And then finally, what does the ending look like? I used to think that being courageous meant not feeling any fear, right? But as I watched Toby sling his heavy bag over his shoulder, I knew the truth. Fear will always be there. Courage was simply about choosing to act anyway. Okay, so this is what a good ending looks like. Now, for these things, of course, I can just give you this checklist, right? But you need to see it, right? And you need to go and try it, right? So some people ask, hey, are you saying you should go and memorize this? Maybe it's controversial again, but I'm saying yes, you know. Ben Franklin is one of the founding fathers of America. When he wanted to be a good writer, he turned out to be a fantastic writer after a while. But when he wanted to be a good writer, he actually just copied good writers so that he can understand the rhythm of their writing, right? What feels unnatural to you and why are they writing like this? So I think if you want to get good, try writing the compo. Okay, at least you wrestle with the topic by yourself. But after that, do your corrections. Make sure you know all the mechanical dialogue rules and all that kind of stuff. Okay, those are easy marks to get. But take the model compo, really study it, try and write it out. Write every sentence out. I guarantee you, your writing will start to change. Okay, because when you write it out, it internalizes much more than reading. Okay, today I only have a bit of time with you guys. I just have to read through. But what I'm trying to do with Cher.ai is I'm trying to put me in your pocket. Okay, so that anything that I will have written, anything that I will have highlighted for you, anything I will have said to do, actually now you can do it at home for free because you're a MindStretcher student. Okay? Right, so it has a lot of stuff and one last thing that is really, really cool. Okay, apart from annotations, apart from the vocab list, we have this thing over here. Adapt for other topics. Okay, this is where I'm also pointing out for parents, if you use ChatGPT, sometimes what you will get is a model compo that cannot be used for any other composition, any other topic. Okay, I'll give you a good example. There was one composition about showing gratitude. And then one of the pictures was a flower. Okay, so ChatGPT, when I was working with it, wrote quite a nice composition actually. Too long, okay, too complex, but it was about a boy sitting for PSLE, and then he had a grandmother who was very concerned about him. So every day in preparation for the PSLE, she would plant a flower, right, as a present for him at the end of the PSLE. And then after PSLE, he realized he had been ignoring his grandmother. So he went to her house, he noticed the flowers for the first time. Then he helped her to tend to the garden after his PSLE, and they grew closer, and they managed to help the garden grow very nicely after PSLE. And in this way, he said thank you to her. She was also doing something kind for him. Okay, so quite a beautiful story. But if I change the picture from a flower to a toy, suddenly that plot is really, 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 really tied to the image. Okay, so what I tried to do without making it off point is I tried to make sure that this kind of plot, if you learn it, the model compose in Cher.ai, if you learn these plots, they are relatively easy to adapt for other very close by topics, whether it's doing the right thing, an act of kindness, standing up for someone, a lesson learned. Okay, and what you can do is that after you have the model compo, you can try and use the same image but different topic. Okay, or you can change both the topic and image, and you try to write the compo like the model compo. Try to use the same kind of plot, the same kind of vocabulary, but learn how to adapt it. I have the notes here. Okay. Okay. I know I've been talking for a while. I'm gonna have a quick look at the chat again. Okay. Let's see. Where is my chat window? Where's my chat window? Chat. Okay. Is the composition report printable? It will be by next week. For now, you can just go through. I'm going to speak about reading aloud later. Okay. Are you able to send the compo to me? If you go to Cher.ai's website, okay, let me type to everybody. If you go to Cher.ai's website, CompoCoach, you can see about 4 sample compos over there. Okay. Carl O, I'm studying hard and I'm taking notes right now. That's fantastic. Okay. I guarantee you, if you listen to this webinar, your marks will rise by at least five marks. Okay. At the very least, because the vocabulary, the sentence structures, these are things that a lot of teachers don't teach properly in schools. What I want to try and do is to make it obvious to you. Yes, other people can teach it, okay, but I've never seen it put clearly for people. And these are the 5 most, 5, no, so this is 10. These are the 5 most high value ways to make your compo obviously good. Okay. Okay. So guys, I'm going to hang around here for 5 minutes, but I think we should take a quick break because after this, I want to talk to you about reading aloud already. Okay. Erica is going to end at 6. It will probably go a little bit beyond that, but if you have to go, it's okay. Okay, I'm going to cover reading aloud quite quickly. That one is simpler. So we'll definitely end most of the main content by 6, but there's something very important at the end I need to share with you guys. Okay. Alan Wee is okay. So guys, let's all come back here by 5:20. Okay, go and take 7 minutes. Go and drink water, take a break. 5:20, come back here. We're going to focus and we're going to go through reading aloud. Okay, I want to make sure that you guys can focus on it because, you know, next weekend we have the Mind Stretcher Student Achievement Awards. The valedictorians are going to be there. PSLE valedictorians and O levels. Every single one of them has said that these special master classes that we conduct really help them for PSLE. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to focus. Let's take a quick break. 5:20, come back here. Okay, we'll start sharp. Okay, I'll be here. You guys can take a break, but I'll be here. Any questions, just type, and then I'll answer it for everybody. Okay. XB, my child is scoring around 27. It's only 3 to 4 months left to PSLE. Does he have time to improve? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But we've got to be strategic. Okay, so maybe for those of you who are still hanging around, I'll share this later. Okay, but of course, first we need to practice on Cher.ai. Okay, practice makes perfect. Okay, but we are going to go through a lot of the techniques as well as you can see here, we can generate model compos, right? What we have done in this June PSLE Power Up program, yeah, I put the link inside the chat as well. Over here, right, what we have done is that we have found 10 model compos that your child should study. And we are going to give them to the students and make sure that you really study these 10 because we have so far had 100% accuracy hitting the PSLE composition topic. Okay, so we have identified 10 that mostly cover all the common topics, easy for students to study, and we have shortlisted them. So this June PSLE Power Up program, right? We try to focus on strategic preparation. So you see, for English, for compo writing, you know, I know a lot of parents are wondering, okay, what should we do next 4 months? We think that, you know, I don't want you to spend all your time going from the bottom up. I don't think there's enough time already to practice hooks and then practice vocabulary, learn a lot of vocabulary. We need to look at it strategically. Let us see how it fits together in one whole composition. So for compos, we have found 10 must-know composition plots, 10 must-know model compos. We'll give it to students. Same thing for other components. Okay, because I know of you are MindStretcher students. This one is June. Is in June. If you haven't signed up, I encourage you to sign up as soon as you can. The slots are already running out. We have done something quite incredible for MindStretcher parents. Other centers out there, they charge like $400 for a boot camp. For me, I have always found that the bootcamp format is not 100% ideal because it's a very big group with a small group of teachers. So what we have done actually is that for $250 per subject in June, if you pay $250 in June, you will get 4 additional classes. Okay, we call these mastery sprints because they're not our normal classes. We will focus it on like the must know for PSLE, all the strategic things like grammar. What are the 20 most commonly tested grammar mistakes? Compo, what are the 10 must know compo plots? Right? It's not just drills anymore. It's actually to make sure that you know what you need to know for PSLE. We do 4 small group classes. Okay, that means the classes will be between, it'll be the small group format. And then we will also have the online bootcamp for all students who have paid for this Power Up PSLE program. Not only that, but you can see here, right? I have eight things: Compo, Compre, Close, Synthesis, Grammar, Oral, SBC, Listening, Compre. We will give 8 exam packs, physical exam packs to every student who will come for these sessions. Okay, so we are really pulling out all the stops. I think this is never been done like that in Singapore before. Why are we doing it? Because we know what works. We need more time with the students. So we have created this deal where for outside you pay more, you get less. I think this one you get a lot more and it's very, very practical. Okay. So Carl, I'm gonna miss my friends after primary school. Yeah. But funnily enough, a lot of my best friends are in secondary school. As people start to learn more about themselves, then you know, then you have more stable friendships. Okay. Is it a must to write the compo topic in our compo? Absolutely. So if you look at the model compositions, I always do it properly. Right? I don't do it in a very awkward way, but we have to, we should, in the beginning and the end, try to address the topic as clearly as possible. Willen, what is your question? Will the AI be able to send the notes to other people? No. No. Okay. Do I need to opt in for the free trial to look at the compositions? No, you can look at it on the on the public page. Okay, but you can, but you for all the parents here, if you're a MindShredder parent, you don't have to go through the free trial route. Okay, you just use the just click the page where you over here. Okay, go to Cher.ai pricing over here. Have a MindShredder code, redeem. Okay, guys, I'm going to pause this for like 1 minute. Okay, I'm just gonna grab some water. I'll be right back. I'm gonna start in 1 minute's time. Okay. Okay. I'll quickly address a few questions. Does Cher.ai offer to students who only sign up for the June Power Up? Nope. It's available to all MindShredder students. Okay, but the June Power Up, because you pay additional fee, you get actual teachers in the classroom, 4 mastery sprints, 1 full online boot camp conducted by the master teachers. Okay, to reinforce a couple of things that that we are covered in the classroom, and then 8 exam packs per subject. Right. Actually, we have seen, because we have launched it this year like this, almost 50% of my instructor parents have signed up already. Okay, and we are starting to run out of slots. So if there are people here who have not signed up yet, I suggest you just take a look. Of course, it's up to you. You may have already your preparation plans, but the way I designed it, working with the curriculum team, is that what is the must know things. So for example, in science, not just more practice questions, right? But I've gotten them to extract out the 20 most common concept traps. Okay, what are things that people always mess up, right? Like the difference between the gullet as well as the esophagus, right? For respiration and digestion, always mess up. What are the common mistakes like in answering? So I've gotten them to extract out answer templates for common question types. This is also to help our students revise properly, right? Like where if we, for example, energy transfer questions, we always have to say, because the height has increased, then the amount of gravitational potential energy has increased. We have to talk about the change, not that because it is high, then there is gravitational potential energy. So these are things that we have really tried to make very practical. I think you guys will get tremendous value out of it. But please take a look and make your own decision. Okay. Will Cher.ai mark according to permanent throat damage, as in PSLE, I got oral. Okay, yeah. So, we don't take into account accommodations. We just mark. Okay. Okay, I can't reset password. Willen, I know you are typing in capital letters. If you could turn off your caps lock, that would be great. Let me take a look after this. Okay. All right. Thank you, Willen. Hey, Agustia, see you typing all sorts of things. Hopefully it's your dog. Okay, come, let's get started reading aloud. Okay, everybody, so reading aloud. Okay, I hope everybody is back already. Let's get started, all right? Okay, what am I going to cover? I'm going to quickly cover how you're marked and then some common myths that we have heard. I'll quickly disabuse you of it. And then after that, I want to do some live practice and I'll show you Cher.ai, okay? Okay, so maybe in the chat again, people can just message me, tell me like what you most recently got for your reading aloud. I know you guys sent me above, but it's way back in the chat. Okay, generally quite good, I think. Okay, good. I would say a lot of you are at least band 4. Okay, very good. Okay, I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so how are we going to get full marks? Okay, because this one, unlike composition, I think you should aim for full marks. Okay, and you should not rest until you get there. Okay, biggest oral challenge. Maybe some of you can share for reading aloud. What are some of the common mistakes that you make? Why are you not getting full marks? Guys, just type, okay? Why are you not getting full marks? Choking on my saliva, okay? No expression. The S and T sounds very good. Nervousness, fast reading, fantastic. I get nervous. Reading too fast, I mess up the words. Yeah, you see, when I speak fast also, I mess up words, okay? Reading in a monotone, rush, I got no expression, complicated. Okay, very good. Okay, so what we always find actually is that the most common issues, okay, I go from basics to the advanced, and this doesn't apply just to oral. In fact, for some of you, you may know that MindStretcher, over the past 2 years, we now run the top public speaking school in Singapore. Why is it that whatever we do, we want it to be good? Because we know how important this stuff is. Okay, so master speakers, our students have literally won every single speaking competition in Singapore. Okay, and we have the highest distinction rate in Singapore for the Trinity Public Communication exam. Okay, so we know what we are doing, not just for PSLE, but for the life skill of communicating. And the most important thing, the first thing you fix, speak at a moderate pace. Okay, if you speak too fast, from then on, everything is a problem. You speak too fast, you're going to make a lot of mistakes because you can't read in advance. You speak too fast, you're going to misread a word. You speak too fast, even if you vary your tone, it cannot hear, right? And if you speak too fast and then there's no pauses and then I make a lot of mistakes and then I stutter, then it's very obvious to the teacher that you have made a mistake. Okay, so speaking too fast. The next thing is speaking too softly. Okay, reading and speaking at the end of it, guys, very important. I'm sharing this with you even before I talk about the rubrics because these are the key messages for parents and students to understand. Speak at a moderate pace, speak up. Why? Because reading and speaking is entirely about the impression that you give to your teacher and to your examiner. In the real world, it's also about the impression that you give to the other party talking to you. Okay, so if you speak too softly, you are going to find that you come across as not a confident reader, even if you had read everything well. Okay, so if you want to get full marks, 15 out of 15, speak at a moderate pace, speak up. Okay, you don't need to shout, not telling you to shout. Don't tell everybody that Moses, this president scholar, told me to shout at my examiner. Not asking you to do that, but speak up. Okay, and then once you have this, actually the rest are a bit easier to do. You will be able to pause, just like for me, as I'm thinking, I'm pausing. I can't do that if I keep speaking nonstop. And because I speak at a moderate pace, then I can vary my tone, right? I can emphasize certain things, speak with expression, and then I can vary my tone because I am speaking slowly. I have a lot of time to showcase what I can do with my voice, right? And eating your words. This is something I always focus on as well. You see, when I speak to you guys, I don't have a exam voice and a normal voice. I've always looked up to Lee Kuan Yew and then today President Taman. The way that they speak so clearly in all situations, and it lets them be effective communicators. Okay, so uh, these are the few challenges that we always see, and this is what we'll fix in Cher.ai. Okay. Now, before we get to the rubrics, just want to quickly disabuse you guys of a few things. Okay. Now, in the chat, okay, I'm going to ask you guys a few things. You tell me true or false. Okay. Okay. The first piece of advice: make sure you make eye contact with your examiner. Do you need to do that or you don't need to do that? True or false? Yeah, true in SBC. Very good. Okay, but false in reading. Yeah. In reading, just read. Okay. Secondly, you need to memorize the passage so you can maintain eye contact with the teacher. True or false? Yeah, false. Good. Last but not least, you need to use hand gestures while you're reading. That counts. Okay, good. But you see, just now, some people were saying that they got penalized for pointing at the words. Okay, so you need to know that guys, that there's also a whole range of standards being applied in school. That's why I put this slide here so that we can talk about what we understand from the rubrics, okay, and what we know to be true. So if your teacher tells you something else in school, just make sure that you know for reading, the reading aloud section is just reading. Okay, just make sure that we are accurate in reading, expressive in reading, we're fine. Okay, so all of them are false. Okay, now what is inside the rubrics? Okay, parents and students, let's take note. There's 3 parts. Okay, even though there's only 5 bands, okay, it's not just looking at one thing. They're looking at 3 things. Or rather, put it this way, they are looking for 3 things. Okay, so if we can make these obvious, that's how we score well. Clear, consistent pronunciation, fluent with appropriate pauses, effective variation of pitch and tone. Okay, so they're looking at your pronunciation. Are you fluent? And when they say fluent, they're actually looking at pauses. It's in the rubrics, okay? It's not a general impression. It's in the rubrics that they're looking for pauses. Effective variation of pitch and tone. Okay, look, it's effective. It's not whether you vary your pitch and tone. Okay, so you're not there to sing a song. Okay, come. So guys, so there's five bands. It's out of 15. Looking at pronunciation, fluency, appropriate pauses, and then variation of pitch and tone. Okay, so raise of hands. Who wants to try reading? Okay, and then let's try and see where everybody is at. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go back to Zoom. Tilden, I gave you a chance just now already. Okay, we let other people try. Don't keep spamming the chat, please. Hey, Willen, let's try. Mr. Caps Locks. Okay, can we let Willen unmute himself?
Hi.
Hello, Willen.
Hi.
Hi, can you introduce yourself to everybody?
I'm Willen from Peitong Primary School.
Okay, hey, hi, nice to meet you, Willen. Okay, I'm going to make this full screen, okay, so that you can read it.
Okay.
I think I'm blocking a part, right? Okay, let me close this. Hey, you guys can. Willen, can you tell me if you can see the whole screen?
Your face is kind of blocking
Oh,
some part of it.
shucks. Sorry. But is it
Yeah.
handsome? Okay, yeah, I turned off my video. Okay, hang on. How? Can you see it now?
Your muscle sore is still there though.
Okay,
But it's
okay,
okay.
hang on.
I can still see clearly. It's okay.
Hey, wait. I want you to have the full, no excuse. Okay, hang on. Let me turn this off. How do I share? Stop this. Okay. Oh, wait, I need to share the screen. Content only. Okay. How? Is it now clear?
Yeah.
Would you prefer my face back on?
It's okay, I guess.
Okay. All right. So I give you 10 seconds. Just look through first. Okay. So of course this is harder than your PSLE because PSLE you have 5 minutes to look through, but also prepare for your SPC. So you just look through, familiarize yourself. So for the parents here who are not familiar, there is a one of the changes that came out is that there's now a scenario attached to the reading passage. Okay. And what they are trying to look for is that can the student show awareness of how they have to adapt their reading to different scenarios. So in this case, Willen, can you read out the scenario first for everybody?
It is your turn to present at show and tell during an English lesson. You have prepared the script below and will now read it aloud to the class.
Okay, great. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. For show and tell today, I've brought along 2 postcards of the Jodi River. They are my grandmother's prized possessions because they are possibly a century old. The first postcard shows a bustling scene of the Jodi River. Can you see these boats along the river? Sadly, they don't exist anymore. Now, there are river taxis which tourists can board for a short ride, and during the cruise, they can admire the National Theatre and the newly constructed Art Centre. I asked my grandfather what was the most memorable to him about the river. He said, long ago, my friends and I used to swim in the river. Some naughty boys would even push their friends in, fully clothed. The second postcard shows a wooden bridge across the river. Do you know it was built entirely by the villagers? It's amazing that it had lasted over 2 decades before it was demolished. I come to the end of my presentation. I hope you found it interesting. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, very good. Very good. Well done, Willen.
I stumbled a lot.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So before I ask everybody to grade you, well, Amanda says this guy is good at reading. I think you are. Okay, but what grades would you give yourself?
I mean, like band 2 or something, like 12.
Band 4, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I got it wrong.
Okay. Why would you give yourself 12 out of 15? What do you think you did wrong?
Like, I stumbled a lot and I think I read a bit too fast, and my pauses weren't really that good.
What do you think you did well?
I think my expression.
I think everybody in the crowd would also agree. Very expressively read. Let me get my face back on so I can talk to you. Okay. Okay, so in the chat now, I want to see what people thought his grades would be. Out of 15? Okay, very good. Yes, I would say it's probably around there, around 12. 12 to 13, depending on how strict your teacher is. Okay, but I would give it a 12. Right. Why? Because Willen, you see you were so excited to read, right? And I know the moment you started to feel yourself going very fast already. And then it's very hard to slow down. Okay. So a few things where I think over here, they are my grandfather's prized possessions. You started to stumble because you were going at a bullet train speed here already. Good morning, everyone. For show and tell today, I brought along 2 postcards of the Jodi River. Okay. And um, and then I think over here, as you sped up again, I asked my grandfather what the most memorable to him about the river. And I know you know that you started to mess up, so you lost a bit of confidence here. Okay, but I think you recovered well. You read on here, fully clothed. You even had a British accent. Um, so yeah, I think in general, very expressive. Well done there. But I think, see, the thing about reading aloud, right? Okay, remember, my goal is not to help you guys score well. My goal is to help you guys get full marks. Okay, and you want to get full marks, you need to avoid obvious mistakes. Okay, which means that if you swallow some S's and swallow some T's, usually it's okay. You just make sure that right up front, you pronounce stuff really clearly so that the examiner has the impression that you read very well, right? Good morning, everyone. For show and tell today, I've brought along 2 postcards of the Jodi River. Okay, so the first thing I think if you want to score full marks is just avoid the obvious mistakes. Okay, and you can only do that when you read at a moderate pace and you give yourself time to read ahead. Yeah, no way you're gonna do it perfectly if you speed read. Okay, all right. Somebody wants to try. Let's do one more, and then after that I'll show you Cher.ai. Okay, Tilden, sorry, I'm gonna let other people try first. Okay, come. Let's. I wanna go. Is Ginny? Can we let Ginny try, please? Roy, if you don't mind. Ginny, if you see the unmute button, then unmute. Then I'm very happy though that everybody is trying to try. Okay, what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna try on Cher.ai, and I have a special challenge for all of you. Okay, some quite fun prizes at the end. But don't worry, today let me just not Jenish, Ginny, Ginny.
Yeah.
Let me see. Is
Can
somebody
you hear
unmuted
me?
already?
Can you hear me?
Hello. I can. Who is this?
Jeannie.
Ginny? Hey, nice to meet you, Ginny. Can you
Janice.
speak up a little bit and then introduce yourself to everybody?
I'm
I'm
Jeannie's
Janice.
school.
Okay. Which school are you from?
Coaching.
Okay, and you're in P6 this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna ask you to do this one, okay? We're gonna do a different practice passage. Okay, so first of all, can you just read out the scenario to everybody?
You are presenting tips on being a good neighbor during a class discussion.
Okay. Ginny, you're gonna have to speak a bit more loudly into your microphone, okay? But I'm going to turn off my video first. Okay. You tell me when you can see uh when you can see everything, okay? Hang on, let me see. Okay, can you see the passage clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, when you are ready, you can have a why don't you take 15 seconds, calm yourself down, have a quick look at the first few lines, then we'll get started.
Do all of you ever wonder what makes a neighborhood truly feel like home? Well, let me tell you. It's not just the houses or parks. It's the people. Being a good neighbor may seem simple, but it has a big impact on those around us. Last week, I helped my elderly neighbor, Madam Ling, carry her groceries upstairs. Thank you, she said with a warm smile. I don't know what I would have done without your help. That small moment reminded me how even tiny actions can make a difference. Being considerate, like keeping noise levels down, returning borrowed items, or even just greeting your neighbors, goes a long way. I once borrowed a ladder and returned it with a thank you note. My neighbor, Mr. Raju, smiled and said, "Come over any time." Communities thrive when we look out for one another. Whenever it's organizing a block party, sharing tools, or simply saying hello, these acts build trust and create a sense of belonging. So, what's the lesson here for all of us? Being a good neighbor doesn't take much. Just a little kindness, a bit of effort, and maybe a ladder or two. Let's all do our part to make our neighborhoods friendlier and more fun for everyone. I hope you find these small tips of mine useful.
All right. Wait, well done. Well done, Ginny. Well done. What do you think? What do you think of your attempt?
I stumbled a bit at the front part. It's not about the houses or park.
What do you say? It's not about, right? I think that's what you said.
Yeah,
Okay. And what else? How many marks would you give yourself?
I don't know.
Oh, no, you cannot not know. So one thing I want to do in my classes, you may give a wrong answer, you may give a right answer, but I want you to give an answer, okay? Because uh, we need to know how we do in the exam. Really important, okay? It is a game, okay? If we don't know the rules and we don't know how the game is played, then even when you're a good student, it sounds like you are actually, then we can get into trouble, okay? So why don't you talk me through roughly what do you think your marks are?
Right, 12?
Out of 15, 12, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you think you could have done better apart from the slip up at the front?
I also stumbled a bit at the block party because I accidentally said book.
You said whenever, right?
Yeah, and also the whenever.
Okay, those are stumbles. Okay, so stumbles, I think, yes, I agree with you. When it's obvious, uh, actually you can do a better job recovering from it, right? So you don't keep up the stumble. And anything else you thought you could have done better?
I could have gone a bit faster.
A bit faster. Actually, I thought your reading speed was perfect. Um, I thought actually you could have incorporated a bit more variation in your tone. Okay, you tend to read a little bit softly. You have something what is called a downward inflection. So actually a lot of great speakers have the downward inflection. One very famous speaker is Barack Obama, right? When you say things like communities thrive when we look out for one another. Okay, it goes down. It makes everything sound very authoritative. Okay, but it cannot be like that for the whole passage. Okay, so communities thrive when we look out for one another. Whether it's organizing a block party, sharing tools, or simply saying hello, these acts build trust and create a sense of belonging. Okay, so I did a downward inflection again at the end, but in the middle, I let it go up. Okay, so we need to consciously think about the shapes of what we're saying and say it. Okay, okay, but very good. I would also agree. I think people in the chat. Okay, so now, this kind of feedback where we go through, okay, what do you do well? What do you do badly? These are things that I want to do at home. Okay, and I know a lot of people saying, hey, why was I not picked? Because you see, guys, reading aloud is a one-on-one activity. Okay, I cannot pick all of you guys. Okay, so that's why I built something like Cher.ai, so that you can practice at home. Okay, let me show you guys what a Cher.ai reading report looks like. And bear in mind, I think that this is probably the most important component to get right. Okay, because it's so useful. Speaking well is so useful. I think the MOE did a great job by increasing the weightage. And now you have something that you can practice. It'll be useful for your exam, useful for your life. Okay, so let me show you what reading aloud looks like. Okay, so for reading aloud, you will be able to, okay, for example, I'll show you guys from the start, okay? So you go to the reading aloud page. Okay, you can choose from one of our various passages. These are all PSLE style, so the vocabulary is accessible. It is about quite Singaporean kind of themes. Okay. Why don't I try something and we can see how I do? Because you guys are pretty good. Actually, I find you guys really good. Okay, so I want you guys to just practice. Make sure that by the time you hit PSLE, can somebody tell me how many days are there from now to PSLE? 89, very fast. Okay, 72, like 3 months. Okay, very good. Okay, I think your oral might be shorter. But if you do one practice every day of reading aloud, that means you have done 80 practices by the time you go there. Okay, I want you guys to do that as a minimum. Okay, make sure you do it so that when it's time to read on the spot, you have made all the mistakes that you need to make already. You have gotten all the feedback that you need to get. Then you just let your natural self perform. Okay, but let me try. Let's see, practice now. Okay, and even I may not score full marks, but what I'm looking at is not just the marks. Marks, I'm trying to make sure that I'm in band 5. Okay, when you hit band 5, whether they give you 14, 15, or 13 is really subjective as well. Okay, but what I'm looking at is the feedback. What am I doing well? What can I do better? I'll start. Good morning, teachers and friends. Have you ever stood at the bottom of a steep hill and wondered how you ever climb it? Life can feel like that sometimes, overwhelming and impossible. But here's the thing. Every great journey begins with a single step. When I first joined the track team, I was the slowest runner. During our first practice, I finished last, panting and embarrassed. Why even try, I thought. But my coach told me, you don't have to be the best today. Just aim to be better than yesterday. So, I started small. I ran one more lap than the day before. I shaved off a few seconds from my time. Each little improvement didn't feel like much, but over weeks and months, those small steps added up. By the end of the season, I wasn't the slowest anymore. The same principle applies to everything, whether it's studying for exams, learning a skill, or overcoming challenges. Break your goals into smaller pieces, take it one step at a time, and keep going. Remember, success isn't about giant leaps. It's about the small, consistent steps that lead you to the top of the hill. You don't have to see the whole path. Just take that first step. So take that first step. Your journey starts today. How? What do you guys think? Can pass, guys? Let me see. I'll pull up the chat. 14? Who gave me 14? Who are you? Tilden. That's because I didn't call you just now. 13. 大了. What did I do badly? Okay, so generally people think it's band 5. Okay. And what do I give you guys when you do a recording? Okay. So when you do a recording, yeah, generally speaking, guys, another thing to just take note of is that PSLE is relative. Okay, you're going to be speaking together with a lot of other students. So as long as you do a performance, a recording, a reading that is free of mistakes, relatively expressive, you're going to get full marks. Okay. Now today, I know we're a little bit critical. We're trying to point out certain stuff. What I want you guys to avoid is the obvious mistakes, and then just vary your voice, speak consistently, speak clearly. You will get full marks. Okay. So what does it look like? So again, for pronunciation, fluency, expressiveness, I'll tell you guys which band you are in for each of them. Okay, I'll give you an overall score. And now we start to do things that you can't really get in schools. Okay, first of all, this grade, right, is really important. Many people can give you feedback, but this one, I've tuned it so that it gives you the same grades as our Mind Stretcher Master teachers. Okay, so you can put some faith in this grading. Okay, but now, as I mentioned, it's not just about the grades, it's about getting better. So when you go into the pronunciation side, okay, again, I do a few things. I tell you what you did well, right? And because we're doing this through AI, you can see I can actually extract out things that I can extract out the clips. Okay, so hang on, let me make sure I'm sharing my audio. Share sound. yourself speaking. Okay.
I remember attending the school's open house, unsure.
So you'll be able to hear yourself speaking. Okay. And we will go through what are the areas where you made pronunciation errors. Okay. So over here, make sure the A sounds like A as in day, not ah. Creativity, not creativity. Right. So us Singaporeans, we tend to swallow the middle of our words. So you'll be able to see where you make mistakes. Okay. Now we don't only just show you, we don't show you every single mistake you made. Okay. Because at the end of the day, they're looking for clear and consistent pronunciation. They're not looking for 100% correct pronunciation. So I've already in here used AI to filter out what are the most obvious ones that will affect your score. And then I also capture actually every single thing that our analyzer flags. Okay, so this one, you can take it as feedback as well, right? This one is very common, a long E, right? Creativity, feels instead of feels, creativity. The ending S's, expect, right? Not expect. Okay, so all of these here, you can hear yourself saying it as well as the what a proper reading would sound like. Okay, for fluency, you see, this is again like we don't just ask whether you are fluent or not. In my opinion, there's a particular speed to read at. So I measure your word per minute through the entire thing. If you can stay close to this, that's great. Okay, I want you guys to get into the habit of what is a natural speed to speak at. If you go online, you search for Taman Shanmugaratnam's interviews, you see the speed that he speaks at. I think that is a perfect speed. It gives him a lot of time to think. It will give you a lot of time to think as well. Okay, so that's where I've calibrated it at. And I also particularly look for pauses, right? A few sentence boundary pauses where you could have actually spoken and incorporated some appropriate pauses. And then finally, this thing about expressiveness. You know, this is one where many teachers in school just tell their students to be more expressive, but how? Can they demonstrate? And many times they cannot because Singaporeans are not expressive to begin with. So what I've done here is that for each passage here, I've gone to identify which are the sentences that you read a little bit monotonously. And then I let you hear you versus a very expressive reading of that sentence. Okay, I think my sound sharing is not working, but when you guys do the report, you guys should take a look at this. Okay, when you guys go to before you start a passage, I will always give you this screen. Okay, before you click practice now, you'll be able to see actually my suggestion of how you should read this passage, right? So you start measured and contemplative, thoughtful and reflective, right? Choosing a secondary school felt like one of the biggest decisions of my life. Okay, so I've annotated everything here. The curriculum team has also helped to curate this, make sure that it's something that we agree on. And you can hear what a model reading sounds like. Okay? Once you listen to this, in fact, a lot of students last year, when we first launched this, they got very, very good just by listening to the model reading and trying to copy it. Again, it's just, for example, for someone like Ginny, right? I think you're actually quite a strong reader. Now, what we need to do is to have a much bigger dynamic range in the voice. You're confident, you don't make many mistakes. Now, let's go even further. Okay, so we click this, we can listen to what it sounds like. Just try and read along. Try and copy. Every time it goes up, you try and go up. Is this the only way to read it? Of course not. There's many ways to read a passage. Okay, but what I want to do is I want your range to increase so that when you feel like doing it, you can do it. Just like for me, just now when I was reading, I purposely just tried to read things in a different way at certain points so that the examiner knows that I am trying to vary my tone. Okay? Okay, so that is reading aloud. Okay, so I wanted to announce this challenge. This is just for fun. Of course, I mean, you guys practicing for your PSLE is very important. And I want you guys to have fun doing it as well. Okay, so starting from next week, okay, I'll be announcing this to the whole of Mind Stretcher, but since you guys took some time out of your Saturday, I give you guys a sneak preview and some early head start. From now until the end of June, okay, next 1.5 months, the 3 students who get the most number of full mark attempts on Cher.ai, we will award them one Universal Studios Singapore ticket each. Okay, this is just a fun thing that we're doing. I hope you guys find it fun practicing, but most importantly, I hope you guys practice as much as you can. Okay. Now I know we're coming up to 6 soon, so I just wanted to for those who were not around during the break, how does this pair with what you're doing in MindStretcher? Okay, first of all, this stuff it allows you to practice at home. Okay, but I know for some of you, you want more guidance. So as I shared with folks during the break, MindStretcher, we have put together this June PSLE Power Up program. Okay, it is, I think, the first of its kind in Singapore for about $250 additional in June. We not only conduct 4 extra classes, but we also conduct an online bootcamp for students done by our master speakers, and we issue 8 exam packs per subject. Okay, I'll take this time now. This one I didn't cover during the break. I want to show you guys what I mean in the exam packs. Okay, these are not small little materials. So Mavis, our head of English, is on the call. These are things that we have all been working on. In the composition pack, we will go through, right, see over here, the 4 small classes, we call them mastery sprints because we are going to cover the very strategic things for preparing for this component. Okay, these are not like our usual classes. So we will cover some stuff during the mastery sprints and cover things in the boot camp. Okay, so we'll go over framework for how to write. Right, so in CompoCoach and in Cher.ai, CompoCoach, Reading Aloud, we let you get graded, we show you the model compositions, but if you want the curated list of composition topics, the composition plots that our English team has spent time checking through, making sure that this is ready for PSLE, please consider coming for our PSLE Power Up program in June. Okay, I think with the materials I've been looking through, they're really good. We don't do this just for composition. We do this for every single component. So grammar, we find the most common tested grammar mistakes. Oral SBC, we shortlist 10 must-know SBC topics and we give you the pointers that you need to use. Again, these are just very practical. And from there, if you have a firm foundation, you're confident, then you can 自由发挥 during the exam. You can come up with new things during the exam. Okay, but if you're not confident, if you want to get to a different level, then actually take a look at this. I think it's very practical. We do the English and Chinese, they mirror each other. Actually, our Chinese program, we are seeing a lot of signups and we don't have a lot of classes. So if you want help with Chinese, we do the same thing where we shortlist plots, model compositions for you to take a look at. Okay, and we bring you through and revise all the critical things that you need to know as a MindStretcher student. For the math and sciences, I was sharing during the break as well that these are not just more practice papers. Okay, I've asked them to focus really on 1, the highest frequency topics that come up for the exam, and 2, don't just let students do practice questions. Make sure that all the answer keys, they incorporate the must-dos for exams, right? For energy questions, energy transfer, we need to get the direction, increase, decrease inside there, so on and so forth. Okay, so for math and science, they have been combing through all the past year papers. If you want to benefit from the team's work, please do consider. We're conducting this during June, morning, afternoon, evening as well. If you cannot make your regular time slot, if you cannot make it for a certain time slot, we are conducting this across MindStretcher. So there's at least like 300 different classes per week for you to choose from, okay, per subject. So I'm sure you can find a slot if you want to, and then the online bootcamp will be held in week 4. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. As I mentioned also, I will be conducting these kind of seminars every 1 or 2 weeks, okay, especially as I launch new things in Cher.ai. The next one coming up will be SBC as well as listening compre. I will go and sort out how to let you guys all join the WhatsApp group. I understand we hit our limits already. That is really the size of the people who are interested in this, because after the Straits Times article, we also had an influx of people. So can you guys please look out on the Luma event for this one? I will share a blast through there. Everybody who is registered there, I will share a blast of instructions of how to sign up for the Cher.ai community, and I'll be making all the announcements through there. Okay? So Safia, can you share again what we should key in for password and username for Cher.ai? You have to create this yourself. So when you go and redeem your MindStretcher research preview code, right? You go to the login page. Then if you don't have an account, you click create account. Okay, then you create your account already, then you can, once you create an account, then you can go and key in the access code. Okay, guys, that's really all I have for you guys. For those of you who want the link, I'll paste in the chat one more time. The link to Cher.ai is also in the chat. Xavier, the model compo is generated when you submit a compo. Okay, and if not, you can also check it out on some model compos on Cher.ai CompoCoach. Okay, I see a lot of people have signed up. I'm really glad. I hope my goal is for every MindStretcher student to come because we've really spent a lot of time putting together the most important things for each subject. Okay. Otherwise, I'll be here for the next 5-10 minutes. Anything that you guys want to ask, I'll be around. Please go ahead. Willen, I know you can't reset a password. Let me go and take a look. Okay. George Wong, is it free? Okay, that's why you guys should join at the start. Okay. It is free for MindStretcher students. Yes, Gory, you can leave. Okay, thanks very much, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. Talk to you guys soon. Okay. Ikshun, we have some interesting things for math and science. We will release it when we're ready, but for now, it's English first. For the Power Up program, yes, the classes will be recorded. I encourage you to book the makeups. With the MindStretcher app, now you can do makeups across the whole MindStretcher system. So you should attend it, the in-person class. I think it's most effective for your students. But if you're traveling, then yes, it'll be recorded. Johan, can I read one passage? You just read it in Cher.ai, okay? I have to get back to my kids too, but I'll be around until 6:10. Sean, yes. So I'm currently the deputy CEO of MindStretcher. Okay, so I lead the company. And then for the boot camps, I'll be at some of them. Amanda, yeah, if you have an enrollment with MindStretcher, then you can sign into Cher.ai for free. If not, it'll be $25 a month. Sarah, yes, I think it is a game changer, but this is like literally 1% of what I have in mind. When I'm done, if you guys have younger kids, I think you guys will have even more help. How to join the bootcamp? Good question. Can you go to this link, Rohan? MindStretcher PSLE Power Up button subjects. From here, you'll be able to register. Nihal, not able to join Cher.ai. Can you tell me what you're seeing? Yes, so it's not a revision class for existing students. The bootcamp is brand new material, okay, where we go through all the strategic things that you need to know for each subject, right? Because we need extra time with the students, and we spend a lot of time preparing these 8 exam packs. We focus on exactly all the techniques, the question types for S&T, the model compos for Compo. Okay, so we really try to be very practical. Email ID, login, and stuck there. Yeah, so you got to create an account, Trapti. You go and click the create account button, and then you'll be able to create an account. Do you think it'll boost my confidence in talking to a real person? Absolutely. So actually with my son, he's 6 years old, I let him read some simpler passages. It also helps him to speak more clearly. Okay, so the stuff that we're doing here is very practical also for real life. Okay, but we got PSLE right in front of us. Let's do it. Jared, is it worth it to pay? I guarantee you it's worth it to pay. Go ahead. Do I teach other subjects? Yes, I do. I was strong at all subjects, and I have some ideas of how to teach better at various subjects by making my way slowly through the whole MindStretcher system. MindStretcher, I think, is already doing well. Okay, I think the quality is there. We try and keep our fees affordable. But now with technology and now with a few things that I've picked up over the years, I'm going to be making MindStretcher better and better. Hui Swan, how to redeem the code? It is at Will the price increase? Yes, Jared, it's a good question. It will definitely increase as I put more things inside. Okay. Do I recommend other AI? I think ChatGPT and Claude can be helpful for certain things, but especially if you're not familiar with the syllabus, you may learn the wrong things. In fact, I was giving a talk at RSM on Monday, and then one of the parents in the crowd, they asked me, actually, my son is using Claude to prepare for chemistry paper tomorrow. And my husband tells him no, but I am telling him actually you should just prompt carefully. But we're all a bit worried because he used Claude to prepare for physics last week and he failed. This is a very common thing because if you're not using it correctly, it's just garbage in, garbage out. Okay, so for me, I'm trying to build the things that I think we need, things that I can stand behind. It won't be perfect, just like how a teacher is not perfect, a human is not perfect, but I think it's a lot better than what we have today. For bootcamp, what subject do you teach? We do all four subjects: English, Math, Science, Chinese. No higher Chinese for this time round. Trapti, if an account of this email already exists, please log in to continue verification. Then you got to log in with your account. Is it 250 per subject? It's about 242 per subject. Yeah, and there's bundle discounts if you sign up for more than one. Yeah, but I'm trying not to emphasize too much on the price. I think the price is already way better deal than anything you find out there. Just look around. Nothing comes close lah. That people conduct 4 classes, a boot camp, all for less than what they charge for a monthly fee. Okay, so we're trying to do this well for everybody. Trying to keep the students in mind lah. Jared, when did I create this? I've been working on Cher.ai since last year. The P6s last year, they used a very early version. There's some issues, but even last year, we graded 3,000 reading aloud attempts. We graded 2,000 plus compositions. This year, I expect it to be a lot more. There's no higher mother tongue for boot camp, but you take a look at the Chinese. I would say that for higher mother tongue, don't come for the boot camp. It is not at the right level. What's the maximum amount of marks I can improve? The sky is the limit, Hunim. Wherever you want to go, as long as you practice, you can get better. Where to find the recording? Well, we'll send it out over Luma. Are you the CEO of MindStretcher? Yes, I am. Hugo, I'm still on video actually. You want to say hello to everybody? Yeah. Okay, I'm over here for 2 more minutes. Can you do one for paper 2? Yeah, I do have that in mind. What should we do to join master speakers? Very good question. Okay, for those of you who have younger as well as older kids, okay, for PSLE year, I think you better focus on PSLE if you need to. But if you want help with like your interview preparation and all that, master speakers is a awesome place. Okay, I mean, for those of you who are still online, I guess you're interested. There's 100 of you, so I'll just share. Master speakers is very special. Now, as a CEO of MindStretcher, I get a lot of requests from other schools to acquire them. So I have a good sense of what other schools are run like. Okay, and one interesting thing about master speakers is, first of all, we have a great track record. PESA, debates, a lot of these programs, the winners as well as the people who are chosen are from master speakers. And we only started this over the past 2 to 3 years. But the second thing is, how do we do it? How we do it is through the structure of the class. Because a lot of speaking schools, they run it as an English class. So there's a lot of time spent editing the script, training the grammar, making it sound better. But actually for speaking, the most important thing is to speak. Okay, and the classes in other centers are too big. So master speakers is not run like a normal MindStretcher class. It is a 1-hour session, not a 2-hour session. And the class size is 5. And we make sure that every student at least speaks for 5 to 10 minutes per class. That is how we get improvement. Okay, so I put the master speakers link into the chat. Yes, you are allowed to leave now. Anybody, I'm not holding you back. It's done already. Okay, I'm just chatting with people who have questions in the chat. Do you think for Compo 32 out of 36 is good for advanced class? Absolutely, Hunlim. Like if you're there, I would focus on other subjects already. Okay, maybe just take note of those 5 things that I talked about. If we can continue to refine your Compo, make sure your opening, you have a pattern that you feel very comfortable with. And then you really try to vary your sentences. Look at the model compositions that I wrote, actually. You will find that there's so many ways to vary a sentence, right? Instead of saying and then, and then, and then, actually we can talk about what he's doing, like, peering around the corner, I noticed, right? So there's many ways to make a compo better. Okay, so there's no limit to it. I would say I would still encourage you to do one practice a week. Okay, but if you're at 32 or 36, I think you should focus on other subjects that you're weaker at. What advice do you have for Chinese oral? I think it's very similar, Lim. Do I need to join boot camp if students are already attending? Yes, yes, you do. So, Ms. Ong, the boot camp is, as I mentioned, is a separate curriculum. Okay, we are taking the extra time to cover the stuff that we want to cover in the last 3 months before PSLE. So each of the subjects, we really focus on like strategic preparation. Okay, not more practices, but strategic preparation. So I put the link already in the chat. You have a look through. If you have any questions, can direct them to the MindStretcher staff. Do you see an improvement in students after MindStretcher? Yeah. So, our MindStretcher student award, I mean, for us, we try and do it honestly. And of course, there are times where at the end of the day, MindStretcher cannot work magic. Okay? A student has to practice at home. If I went for tuition for 2 hours a week, no matter what magic words my teacher says, there's no way I can get as good as I got. I got as good as I got by practicing at home. Okay, because tuition is 2 hours a week, the rest of the week is 166 hours. There's no way things can go into your head within 2 hours if you don't practice at home. Okay, so, but at the same time, when people do practice at home, then when they come to MindStretcher, they get the frameworks, the techniques, the guidance from the teachers, then they improve. So this video that is playing here is our MindStretcher Student Achievement Awards last year. All these students, they got either AL1, AL2, they got into the GEP, they did well for their O levels, and we even recognize people who maybe they didn't get their top grades, but they made a lot of progress. So that is our goal at MindStretcher. Make sure that students progress. Right? Maybe it's not about having the most fun, but 100% we want to make sure that you do well if you want to put in the work. Okay. Sorry, what is the minimum compo mark for AL1? There's no minimum compo mark for AL1, but AL1 is 90 and above. So you can't lose too many marks. Why isn't there other MT subjects? What do you mean, Johan? Is it enough that I only study only the bootcamp material? Hey, there's no limit. I tell you guys, like for me, as long as I see that it's useful, then I just read, make sure that I know what is happening, then I move on. Okay. Like practice papers for O levels, I was doing 1 or 2 every day. Right. And I was already a strong student. But I try not to leave anything to chance because for me, I wanted to do well. I didn't want my mother to pay for university. I wanted to get a scholarship. Die wanted to get a scholarship. So I left nothing to chance. I worked really hard. Yeah, what I can say is that the bootcamp materials are very useful. Okay. Yes, Sean, you can leave. Why is Cher.ai called Cher.ai? Because students call their teachers Cher. And it also is the ending part of MindStretcher. And lastly, this word, CHER, is actually a French word, share, right? And Cher me is the name of the dove, of the pigeon that saved a French battalion. Okay, so this word means dear friend. Yeah, so I like the name a lot, but anyway, it's just a name. At the end of the day, it's the tools that I want you guys to focus on. Okay, guys, I think the questions have come to an end. Is Cher.ai only useful for primary school students? I think for now, yes. I would say if you practice the compos here, what I'm told by the secondary team is that this level of composition writing is also good enough for secondary school. Okay, because we don't teach a very basic thing. For reading aloud, that it's not the same format as in secondary school. But next week I'll be launching the listening compre. That one is also applicable for secondary school students. So if you're a MindStretcher student, I encourage you to just try. Okay. out of 200, what's the best score to get? Get 200. Haziq, aim for that. Okay. Now I tell you guys, when I was doing my PSLE, I was super overconfident because I was very good at English, and then I made the mistakes that I'm telling you guys not to make today. So I actually wrote a very complicated plot. I thought I would be able to do it, and I almost didn't finish. And I was so stressed out. I knew my English compo was weak. Yeah. So I made a mistake, and that's why after a while, I keep telling students, keep it simple. Okay, you're not here to prove that you are a fantastic writer. You're just here to prove that you can write under the PSLE conditions. Let's see. Do I face what? What was that question? Somebody asked me, do I face challenges as a CEO of MindStretcher? Well, I think, yeah, I mean, there's always a lot of things to sort out. At the end of the day, it's a very people business. But I'm quite excited. I think there's a lot of things to do in education. I have 2 young kids as well. So a lot of things that I'm solving, I want to solve for them too. Does Master Speakers help with oral SBC? Yes. So if you want to learn how to speak on the spot, Master Speakers is great. Okay. What was your PSLE score? It was 269. Yes, I do teach at MindStretcher, but I don't teach small classes. I always teach this kind of big classes where at least I can talk to a few hundred students at the same time. Do I have problems making Cher.ai? Of course, anything worth doing is not easy. Okay, guys, last question if anything. How long will it last, Jared? So this access will, your free access will last until the end of PSLE. Okay, unless I see a lot of abuse of the platform, then I have to tighten stuff up. But otherwise, I want to make it free as long as I can. Okay, guys, let's call it a day. I had a great time. Thanks very much. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Okay. Look out on Luma again for the instructions of how to join the WhatsApp group. I'm so sorry about the limits, but I guess our group was much bigger than we expected. Okay. Thanks, guys. Have a great Saturday. Have a great Sunday. See you guys soon. Take care.